Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Is my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Christmas Eve, it's the one night of the year when we all act a little nicer, we smile a little easier, we share a little more. For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin 2020 Christmas Special. He is your host, Ben Mason.
And he is your co-host, Sandra Luketic. And today, we're taking things in a little different direction, much like we did with our Halloween episode. And we're going to go into a bit of a list. But in this time, or in this situation, I should say, we're not going with an IMDb users list. We're going with my list of 10 films that I believe should be watched during the Christmas season.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. And it's not all horror, don't worry. There's some classics, there's some comedies. I don't know if you've seen all of them, but I think you've probably seen a lot of them.
I should probably clarify that my was I got some flack on our Halloween episode for having not watched some movies that I should have. And I guess I need to prepare myself for that to happen again. But it's the holiday season, so maybe people will be a little bit nicer about it. No, okay. Are you doing this in any sort of order, or is it just your 10?
Just my 10. There's no particular order here. But one thing I would like to start off with is what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Personally, I think that the theme of Christmas has to be integral to the actual plot of the movie. Not just a movie set during the Christmas season.
I'm in agreement with you.
So this rules out movies like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, and honestly, oddly enough, I'd say to a certain extent, Black Christmas, even though it's in the title.
What about Gremlins?
Gremlins is a Christmas movie. That's on my list. We'll get to it.
Okay, I mean, I think that the whole thing about a Christmas movie is that everybody's definition, and this really was kind of highlighted with the article that you linked me earlier, is subjective. So while something might not be a Christmas movie to me, if it's a Christmas movie to the listener, and it's something that they enjoy watching during the holiday season with people they care about, if they enjoy going back to it, by all means, nobody is here to tell you that that is or isn't a Christmas movie. That's a Christmas movie to you. So
No, that's not a Christmas movie. I'll tell you right now, that's not a Christmas movie. If you just like watching a specific movie during Christmas, it doesn't make it a Christmas movie. It just means you're weird and you like watching out-of-season movies. I'm claiming for them to be holiday films.
It was just one example, Ben.
I don't care.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to throw out a disclaimer that my views are subjective and do not reflect everybody's.
Same here.
You can do
watch whatever you want. I really do think that if it's going to be a Christmas movie, Christmas has to be very important to the plot.
Okay, all right. So you're fine with it as long as it doesn't give you an opportunity to jump down my throat first, and then you'll be okay with it. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why don't you just start with the list, okay?
Okay. Again, this is no particular order, but I'm starting off with 1998's Scrooged. Have you seen this movie?
I have seen parts of it on television. In fact, it was on yesterday. Lizzie was watching some of it. And
yeah, it's been on pretty frequently over the last week and a half. Great movie, directed by Richard Donner. I know you've seen a bunch of his movies like Superman, Lethal Weapon, The Omen, Goonies, a lot of TV shows.
I've seen Superman and the Goonies.
You've seen Lethal Weapon, haven't you?
That's what I meant. I've seen Lethal Weapon and the Goonies.
Okay. You haven't seen Superman?
Not the original, no.
Okay, you're not missing out.
I didn't see any of the original series, and I don't think I'm missing out, so...
Okay, well, tell me from what you've seen, what do you think Scrooged is about?
I think it's
don't say Scrooge.
Well, it's a modernized version of the Scrooge story, adding, I think, more of a comedic element than the original story opens itself up for.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol is just a miserable human being. Bill Murray's Francis Cross is just smug He's a smug bastard, basically.
So
I've got this
every
little,
role that Bill Murray plays.
Yeah, but he's kind of more of a jerk than a comedic jerk in this. I mean, he has moments of great humor, great comedy, but I was originally going to grab like the plot synopsis from IMDb, and I did for some of these movies, but some of them are so horrible that I ended up grabbing a review written by somebody, like a viewer, and that was then posted on IMDb reviews.
Okay.
So this is by Ian T. Jambo. Francis Xavier Cross is a cynical, mean-spirited television executive who treats his loyal assistant with contempt. He just sacked a member of his staff on Christmas Eve for simply disagreeing with him, and he's alienated himself from his brother, who still insists on inviting Frank to Christmas dinner, despite him refusing to go every single year. However, Frank is forced to learn the true meaning of Christmas when he's visited by three ghosts. So yeah, it really is a modern take of A Christmas Carol. The ghosts are absolutely hilarious. The cast is phenomenal. And you got Bill Murray, Karen Allen, Bobcat Goldthwait, David Johansen, Carol Kane, Robert Mitchum. Like, it really is an all-star cast, and it's a movie that a lot of people will say, "Hey, do you remember Scrooged?" But I don't really think a lot of people have actually seen it recently. It's just something that was on TV or their parents showed them when they were growing up.
Okay.
I have written 1998. I'm pretty sure it's 1988.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate.
1998.
I want to ask you a question, and I'm hoping that it doesn't come up again in any of the movies that you're going to mention here on out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are countless Christmas Carol takes.
Yes.
Disney Christmas Carol, Muppets Christmas Carol, even just Christmas carols that are redone, like, Michael Caine and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about Scrooged that would make it stand out to be the one that you watch over, say, some of the other Christmas carols?
For the most part, all of the Christmas Carol films are the exact same story told over and over again, just with different actors. A few changes here and there. Some are a lot darker than others when it comes to the Ghost of Christmas Future. I've only seen the Muppet Christmas Carol once. I didn't really like it. I know everybody who loves Muppets thinks it's probably the best Muppet movie.
I love the Muppets. I do not like the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Really? Why don't you like that one?
I don't know, man. It's not something I can put my finger on. I think when I watch it, I just lose interest. It feels like it doesn't have enough of the Muppet style to keep me entertained, and I just don't enjoy it much. And I genuinely do love a lot of the Muppet movies.
Yeah. Well, it just feels like almost every Christmas Carol film outside of Scrooged is set in Charles Dickens' England.
That's very possible.
Like I'm having trouble kind of coming up with another movie that's a little bit more contemporary setting.
Yeah,
Can you think of any?
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, that's just one. It's great to have on in the background. Like you said, you've seen bits and pieces. I'd recommend sitting down watching the whole thing, but it really is a great movie just to have going in the background while you're doing stuff.
Yeah, chances are that I've probably seen the full movie in pieces, but it's difficult when it's on TV so many times, and like you come home from work or you walk into the living room from doing something else and it's on TV, but it's 30 minutes in or whatever, right? You can't help but sit down and watch some of it, but you don't get the full experience. So I should do that at some point. But I mean, good start. Good start to the list.
Yeah, thank you. The second movie, I'm sure pretty much everybody has seen. And that would be 93's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dead serious.
Huh. Any reason?
Happenstance? It's definitely not due to a lack of interest in seeing it. It is another one of those where I've walked into the room and it's been on and I've seen maybe 20 minutes of it. Maybe I catch the end, but I have never seen the whole movie. And I don't even think, like the previous movie, Scrooged, I've seen the entirety in pieces. I think I've only seen like 20, 30 minutes of it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's very surprising. Because honestly, it seems to be, from people I've talked to about Christmas movies, which is rather infrequently, but around the holiday season, this always comes up in conversation, brought up by other people.
Is it surprising?
Yeah.
Is it really surprising coming from me?
No, not so much from you, I guess.
I can already see it. It's the first one that I'm going to get comments on in my inbox.
Oh, probably. But the weird thing is, everybody who tells me that they love this movie, it's their favorite Christmas movie, also seems to think that it was directed by Tim Burton, which it was not.
I mean, it has a very Tim Burton feel to it.
Well, he wrote the story and he was a producer on it. But when you take that and you're like, yeah, okay, I see the Tim Burton influence. But it was directed by Henry Selick. And when you look at the other movies he's done, this fits perfectly with his other two of James and the Giant Peach and Coraline.
I mean, definitely Coraline. Like, I'm going based on like what I've seen from advertising and imagery. I haven't seen the whole movie. But even just from the aesthetic standpoint, the feel that you get from like the atmosphere they're setting with the visuals, Coraline definitely fits with it.
I've actually never seen Coraline.
Again, I've never seen it either, but I'm going on just the imagery that I've seen of, yeah.
Yeah, same. And James and the Giant Peach was the exact same style of stop motion. So, beautiful, beautiful film for sure. Can you tell me what you think the movie's about?
Nope.
Based off of what you've seen?
No idea.
Okay, this is another IMDb synopsis by John Reeves. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, is bored with doing the same thing every year for Halloween. One day he stumbles into Christmas Town and is so taken with the idea of Christmas that he tries to get the resident bats, ghouls, and goblins of Halloween Town to help him put on Christmas instead of Halloween. But alas, they can't quite get it right.
Well, that sounds delightful.
It's a really fun movie. It's super dark, twisted. It's a musical. The songs are amazing. Actually, the lead character, Jack Skellington, is voiced by two different people. Chris Sarandon, who I think you would know as Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night.
No?
No. Oh, he was also in Princess Bride.
Oh, I loved Princess Bride.
Yeah, he was the oh God, what was his name? He was going to marry Buttercup.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was the speaking voice for Skellington, and the singing voice is Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo, who does a lot of the music for Tim Burton movies.
I was going to ask why they had two voice actors, but clearly you've answered that.
Yeah. Then you have Captain O'Hara as Sally. She's absolutely amazing. She did the singing herself for that character, I believe. You know, William Hickey, and I didn't remember this, but Paul Rubens was in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I think as maybe like one of the kids. I don't know. Oh, you wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. Never mind. But no, all in all, a really fun Christmas movie. A really fun Halloween movie too. I mean, you watch it October, December. It's just a fun movie. Highly recommend it. I think you should sit down and watch the whole thing. You might not like it, but I think you'd be really impressed with some of the artwork in it.
I mean, you've said that for both movies thus far, so we'll see if we get to 10 out of 10.
Okay. Now, I would
list
be
of
very...
homework after this is going to be very high.
Of those two, which would you be more interested in seeing, Scrooged or Nightmare Before Christmas?
Right now, I'd say Nightmare Before Christmas. I'll tell you what,
Okay.
When we're done, the list, of the ones that I haven't seen, I'll tell you which one of the ones I haven't seen I will watch this year. I will watch one of them. I promise you.
All right. Now, just because I put this list together doesn't mean I like every movie on this list. I just find it as like, this is a list of movies you should be watching around the holidays.
Why should you be watching it if you don't like it?
Because I think this is more of a staple in every family's like Christmas viewing than possibly How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And that is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I have seen that movie probably 20 times.
Right? And this is you we're talking about.
Oh, and it's not even me wanting to sit down and watch it. I have it on in my house due to Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, Christmas will hit, and she'll watch it. It'll be on TV a week later, and she'll watch it. Her sister will come down for some holiday, like, get-together, and they'll watch it. I've seen this movie so many times, and I don't think one of them, maybe one of them, I actually sat down from the beginning and was like, okay, I want to watch this movie. Now it's just a movie that I am subject to. And that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. Like, I do like the movie, but it is a movie that is just hammered into me all the time, nonstop. It's always on this time of the year.
Yep. And like I said, there is such a thing as overwatching a film. That's why I can't watch Jedi anymore. And it's the same with this. I don't want to take anything away from the movie. I've just seen it so many times that I'm good. I'm good to not watch it again.
I mean, if I was in a situation where I hadn't seen it, like, 90% of the movies we talk about, I can easily say, go watch it at least once. It is absolutely worth watching.
Oh, if you've never seen the movie before, then by far go get it right now. Like, check it out. It's hilarious.
But I have to assume that if I've been subject to it this many times, most people probably have.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, it's more of a tradition and a staple in everybody's Christmas viewing. Whether they want to or not, it's going to be on their TV at least once.
Yeah, and honestly, if we were to somehow look at scheduling rotation on television channels during this time of the year, I would almost wager that this one is on more than anything else. Because it fits so many different channel stations, like demographics. It can be played during like a weekend during the day. It can be an evening like movie feature. Like, it fits so many targets that it can be played and is played so much during this time of the year.
Yeah, it is edited for TV though. They need to do some of that work.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I believe at this point that's long done, and they're just running these multiple different copies. But again, like, it can fit on so many networks at so many times that it is on always.
Yeah, I think the only movie that could rival this for TV airtime is probably Elf.
That's probably very true.
Yeah, I don't like Elf. It's not on this list.
Good, because I have never seen it.
Yeah,
And I don't need to be told that I need to watch another movie that I haven't seen.
Just in case anybody listening hasn't seen Christmas Vacation, I'll give you the rundown. Written by Rob Hartle. It's Christmas time and the Griswolds are preparing for a family seasonal celebration, but things never run smoothly for Clark, his wife Ellen, and their two kids, Audrey and Rusty. Clark's continual bad luck is worsened by his obnoxious family guests, but he manages to keep going, knowing that his Christmas bonus is due soon.
Yeah,
His breakdown at the end of that movie is absolutely hilarious.
it is. Who plays the kids in this one?
That is actually something I wanted to bring up. It was really strange because I did not remember the fact that Juliette Lewis played Audrey and Johnny Galecki played Rusty.
I did, but I wanted to point it out because it's never the same actors in any of the movies.
No. Have you seen all of the Vacation movies?
European regular vacation.
Yeah, when Vacation,
Las
European
Vegas.
Vacation,
Yep.
Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation, and then just I think Vacation, the new one.
Yes, I've seen 5 of them. Yep.
Really? How was the new one?
It's okay. It's okay.
Huh.
It doesn't have the same charm as like a Chevy Chase one, but it is not bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that I'm more than happy to stop with one time. But
Yeah.
I think we have the box set of the first 4 in this house because I live with someone who is a very large fan and even has a T-shirt for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation that comes out this time of the year.
And before we move on, we do have to talk about how good Randy Quaid was in this movie.
I mean, Randy Quaid is great in every one of the movies that he's in for Vacation. But yes.
No, he's not.
That's subjective.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, where he's the lead.
I didn't know that existed, so I will retract my statement.
It's terrible. Okay, what was that? 3? All right, on to number 4. I know you've seen this one.
You always say that. You're setting me up for failure here.
I'm pretty sure you've
You
seen this.
said it about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, it's a popular movie. Shut up. Anyway, next, number 4, 1997's Jack Frost.
Is that the horror? Or
Yeah.
would be? Yeah. Well, you know I've seen it. You made me watch it.
Yeah, I know. But then I started doubting myself because you're you.
Oh, I mean, I was in the room with you watching it.
I don't remember that.
Unless I had some sort of outer body experience, then yeah, you know I've seen that one. But I mean, you can understand my skepticism because you keep saying, I know you've seen this one.
Yeah, I know. I just keep setting myself up for failure.
Anyway, go ahead. Jack Frost. Fantastic movie.
Yeah, and this is the actual IMDb synopsis, which is terrible, but it is still slightly better than any review anybody else wrote. And it's horribly, horribly miswritten. After an accident that left murderer Jack Frost dead in genetic material, the vengeful killer returns as a murderous snowman to exact his revenge upon the man who set him to be executed.
That's the whole thing?
Yeah.
It's not very long.
I know.
And
But it was directed by Michael Cooney, who is known for such great movies as Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
I find that review is a little generous because it says he comes back as a snowman.
Murderous snowman.
Yeah, but it doesn't mention at any point styrofoam cutout in the shape of a man that's flailed around in antifreeze.
Yeah.
So...
Don't forget that part where it's just the giant foam hand with the fake woman's head just rubbing the face in a box of broken ornaments.
Okay, Ben, I gotta ask you, why is this one on the list?
Because it's amazing. It is hilarious. It's so much fun. Christmas is a central theme. It works.
I will say that if there's one movie that is the good bad movie that you're trying to find with your friends to watch together and make fun of, this might be the most Christmas one that you can.
Oh, definitely.
So
it is a hoot, man. I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it. I've watched this movie numerous times. It is one of my favorite movies to show people because it is so absurd and so completely ridiculous. But no matter who I show it to, by the end of the movie, everybody's laughing.
Yeah, just for maybe different reasons, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say it's an incompetent film. I think they did great with the resources they had, but it's just a lot of fun, man.
Do you think that it would have been like a semi-competent movie if they had the resources to do things like actual special effects instead of just a styrofoam cutout?
You want to talk about lack of budget for special effects? When they tried to do the scene where his genetic material attaches to the toxic waste or whatever it was, they just transitions right into full-on cartoon animation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The styrofoam one bothers me so much because they try to make it look like they're wrestling, but it's just a guy flailing around while holding a cutout of a human shape out of like foam or styrofoam or I don't know, bed mattress or something. It just stands out so much in my mind.
It's the charm, man.
Yeah.
But then it gets really creepy with like the weird bathroom scene with Shannon Elizabeth. And I think they went a little too dark with that.
There's so many things.
It's great. It's a great movie.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So where are we now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. Home Alone.
Oh yeah, I've seen Home Alone, of course.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay, that one you don't say. I'm sure you've seen this one.
I'm stopping.
Okay, well, I mean that would have been a good one to not stop at because yeah.
No, it's fine because now you can be like, I saw this one, and I'll be surprised. I don't have to set myself up.
Were you surprised when I said that I saw this one? No, because again, this is one that I think most people have seen. Very much like National Lampoon. It's almost on.
Did you say National Lampoon?
Yeah. I realize what I said. Thanks for pointing it out. Thanks.
No problem. Just making sure you weren't having a stroke or something.
Yeah, thanks for just. I love this holiday season where you're jumping down my throat and not just letting certain things slide. It's awesome.
No problem, buddy.
I can really feel the Christmas spirit.
Ho, ho, ho.
Home Alone is one of those that's on TV. You could almost think 7 days a week during the holiday season. It's probably on just as much as Frosty this. No, it's probably on more than Frosty and Rudolph, because those ones generally just show up like the week around Christmas. Home Alone will start like right when, like, you know, December hits, if not a little bit sooner.
Yeah. Well, also I left Frosty and Rudolph off of this because I didn't want to do TV shows or TV specials, just movies.
I was just thinking about like the TV scheduling rotation there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, otherwise they would be on here for sure. They are iconic. You're right.
Fair. But I was just trying to express the frequency that people are exposed to Home Alone, that it is difficult to imagine that people haven't seen it. Maybe younger audiences nowadays, because it is getting, you know, older at this point. Perhaps that's a similar idea with Christmas Vacation. But even if the movies are getting older, they're still on TV so much that, I can't think of a reason people haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't even know if I need to go into the synopsis for it. I will. It's just like one sentence. An 8-year-old troublemaker must protect his house from a pair of burglars when he is accidentally left home alone by his family during Christmas vacation.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen nowadays with, like, technology. He would just FaceTime his parents and be like, yo, you forgot me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, we got to talk about it at least a little bit. So I will say probably my favorite part of the movie was Daniel Stern.
As Marv.
Yep. Because, I mean, the movie is built up, you know, leading into the whole home invasion portion. Mm-hmm. And I personally do find, like, the whole lead up not necessarily the more entertaining part of the movie. It can actually drag a little bit. But then when you get to the actual home protection part, and it is more about the slapstick comedy, I think that that's where he excels, and that's where I get the most enjoyment out of the movie.
Yeah. I think it's more so the there's a weird sense of caring from a lot of the characters, right down to John Candy at the airport.
I mean, it's a small role, but he even throws himself into it. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean, especially with him and Catherine O'Hara, so you got two SCTV alums working together again. Like, you could tell that they've had a pretty good working relationship. They've known each other for years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Catherine O'Hara's second appearance on this list.
Yeah.
You ever hear the movie Deadly Games?
Deadly Games.
Yeah, it's an English title for a French horror film. That's basically Home Alone, but a vagrant dressed as Santa Claus breaking into the kid's house and kid defending it.
Oh, is it more violent in nature rather than, like, slapstick?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about that one, but I can definitely say for Home Alone, it's a good recommendation because it is wholesome family viewing.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Even the second one. I mean, this is Chris Columbus directing. You look at the movies he's done, and you get a feel for who his audience is. And people love his movies. He directed this. He directed Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, the first two Harry Potter movies, the first Percy Jackson film. Like, he knows his audience.
Awesome. Well, let's not dwell on Home Alone too much longer because, again, what else can we say?
Perfect. All right, next is Gremlins.
It's not a Christmas movie, man.
It is a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it's how is it not a Christmas movie?
It can happen any time of the year. Is any gift-giving situation, this movie can take place.
Well, then you have to keep in mind Corey Feldman dressed as the Christmas tree advertisement. You've got Phoebe Cates telling the story about why she hates Christmas because her father is dressed as Santa Claus, got stuck in the chimney and died. Gizmo was a Christmas gift for Billy from his father. It's a Christmas movie, man.
Okay, all right, man. It's your opinion. I can't take that away from you.
This is also written by the director of Home Alone, Chris Columbus.
Well,
yeah.
You had to have him on back-to-back films, right?
Yeah. Directed by Joe Dante, who did Piranha, The Howling, Inner Space, The Burbs. The Howling, I've already said, is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, favorite werewolf movies.
I will say this. I will say this. He does have his name tied to a lot of good projects.
Yes, he does. So yeah, the IMDb synopsis for this being: a boy inadvertently breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolently mischievous monsters on a small town.
Another thing that could be pointed out is for all of the love that's currently going on for Baby Yoda, just look at Gizmo. That guy is adorable.
Oh yeah, so much more adorable.
I wouldn't say so much more, because Baby Yoda is freaking adorable, but Gizmo is also freaking adorable, so yeah.
Yeah, but Gizmo's also fuzzy.
Okay, man. Well, whatever criteria works for you. But I mean, hey, if you like Baby Yoda because you like cute things, watch Gremlins. You'll have Gizmo.
Yeah, Gremlins is great. I don't think people realize how much of a horror movie it actually is, because it's super dark and incredibly violent and pretty gory too.
Oh yeah, some of those Gremlins, they get theirs in ways that maybe are not recommended for children.
No, definitely not. I mean, the second movie is obviously much more of a comedy, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, but there's just something, I don't want to say magical, but
okay, I might be like mixing the movies together like memories. So you have to correct me if this isn't the first one. But is there a gremlin that meets its demise with a blender in this one or in the second one?
In the first one.
Okay, it is the first one. All right, I was worried I was going to say that and you were going to correct me because I'm always wrong. But
no, I believe that was the first one, as well as the microwave death.
Yeah, it's the blender that really stood out for me, and I definitely don't think that that's as family friendly as, say, Home Alone.
Oh no, a little green guy being blended, screaming until he's completely dead.
Yeah, maybe maybe keep that away from the little kiddies.
This also has Dick Miller in it as Murray Futterman.
Who's that?
Do you remember Dick Miller? From Demon Knight, Uncle Willie.
Oh, Uncle Willie. Okay, yeah. Dude, you know I'm terrible with this stuff. Stop putting expectations on me.
Yeah, Dick Miller's in a lot of Joe Dante's movies. So
he is one of those characters, though, that I have seen in many things, and when I see his face, I recognize him. But even after this conversation, 20 minutes later, I'll forget his name, and he'll go back to being, oh yeah, that guy, whenever I see him.
Well, after this is done, look him up on IMDb, and you'd be surprised how many TV shows and movies you've probably seen him in.
No, I won't be surprised. Because I expect it to be a lot.
It will be a lot, but I think it'll be more than a lot.
All right, whatever.
All right, moving on. This I honestly don't think you've seen.
We've been on a good stretch, though.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
Seen it?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just like the vacation movies, I live with someone who enjoys the Ernest movies. To be fair, I've seen Ernest Saves Halloween more than any of the other ones, but like I've seen...
if you did, you'd know it would be called Ernest Scared Stupid.
Right. Thank you. Shut up, Ben. Really ruining the fun for me here when you keep pointing out all my mess-ups. But yes, I've seen Ernest Scared Stupid. I've seen, I don't know, there's one where he goes to jail.
Yeah, it's called Ernest Goes to Jail.
Oh, good. I should have just said it. Whatever. Go on with your synopsis and give me a minute to recollect myself.
Okay. This was written by Madcap. Ernest P. Worrell, a sweet but silly taxi driver who at times suffers delusions of grandeur, has just chauffeured a rather extraordinary fare. His great red oneness, the Claus himself. It seems Santa hasn't got the magic for another Christmas season and has come to Orlando, Florida for Joe Carruthers, the man he has chosen as his successor. But things quickly begin to unravel thanks to Joe's meddling agent and Santa's increasingly unreliable memory. Incredibly dim-witted Ernest soon becomes Santa's only hope. Joining forces with a young runaway named Harmony Star, Ernest rushes to save the holidays as we know them. This used to be on TV all of the time. I remember it. on CBC all the time, and I don't think I've seen it on television for probably 15 years.
No, it's one that's disappeared. I believe we have like a DVD set with like Saves Christmas, Scared Stupid. I think
Goes to Camp.
I was gonna say Goes to School. And maybe In the Army. I'm not 100%. It unfortunately doesn't have Slam Dunk Ernest, which if there's one that I own, should be that one. But
Got it.
But Ernest Saves Christmas used to be on TV all the time. Now it's not so much. I think the one Ernest movie that is Scared Stupid around Halloween time, and the rest don't seem to get television rotation. But we still get to see Saves Christmas most years.
Yeah. Saves Christmas was a staple for me. I love that movie. I haven't watched it in so long. I really should check that out this year. That's a very good one. A really fun movie, directed by John Cherry III, who has done... I had to look this up because I thought he had done a few Ernest movies. It turns out he's done 14.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that includes Slam Dunk Ernest. So to anybody who's watched the Like Mike movies when they were growing up, definitely check out Slam Dunk Ernest. Same thing, but with Ernest and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I had to actually look it up, and there's a few I didn't know existed. Ernest Goes to Africa?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Ernest Rides Again?
Not that good.
Well, there's a lot of them.
I actually have a DVD of all of the old commercials he did before he was like a film character.
I think that if you're going to go with Ernest movies, you should stick to Saves Christmas and Scared Stupid when they come around that time of the year.
Yeah, everybody seems to love Goes to Camp. I never really enjoyed it. Saves Christmas was next, loved it. Scared Stupid after that was great. Goes to Jail, perfect. And then after that, they just kind of started to get worse.
No,
Poor Jim Varney. Jim Varney was great as Ernest. He's more of a rubber face than Jim Carrey ever could be.
And didn't get near the same recognition that Jim Carrey did, because he was doing it long before Jim Carrey showed up, and then he like made it like a huge success.
Yeah, well, he's also he was a trained stage actor. Like, that's a true thespian. And I think other than Ernest, people only really know him as Slinky Dog from Toy Story.
Oh, he did Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I'm sure there was other movies he did too, but they just were more minor roles, things that you...
Well, I think the only other really big movie was the big screen version of Beverly Hillbillies, where he played Jed Clampett.
Well, that's one, right?
Yeah. But I think that was it. Like, he's played minor roles, but he's great. Anyway, Ernest Saves Christmas. Watch that movie.
I agree.
Number 8 on the list is Krampus from 2015, directed by Michael Dougherty, who also directed Trick or Treat, which is one of my favorite horror anthology movies of all time, and also Godzilla, King of Monsters. Maybe not the best Godzilla movie, but still pretty entertaining in my opinion. Do you know anything about Krampus?
I don't know anything about all three of the movies you just referenced.
Oh, highly recommend Trick or Treat. Check that out next Halloween season. Godzilla, King of Monsters, fun if you like Godzilla, but Krampus is a really, really fun, I'd say Christmas horror comedy, but leans a little bit more on horror than comedy, which we're not used to seeing. I'm just going to read the IMDb description they had for this one. It says, when his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, young Max gets disillusioned and turns his back on Christmas. Meanwhile, this lack of festive spirit unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. All hell breaks loose as beloved holiday icons take on a monstrous life of their own, laying siege to the fractured family's home and forcing them to fight for one another if they hope to survive. It's a really fun movie with a great cast. The beloved holiday icons they talk about would be like Jack in the Box, Gingerbread Man, all kind of turning into evil versions of their iconic images, attacking the family.
They got to fight all that and Krampus?
Yeah. And the effects for Krampus itself, they're actually really creepy. Very well done. I don't really know the lead actor who plays the son Max, MJ Anthony, but the rest of the cast is Adam Scott, Toni Collette, Conchata Ferrell, David Koechner. Names you might not know, but faces you would definitely recognize, and they all really pull together in this great union of horror, comedy, thriller, action to an extent, and a lot of suspense. It's very well filmed, and it's a very well told story. High recommend.
Can I circle back and just ask you for the Krampus? You said that the imagery is done really well. Is it practical effects, CGI? What are we talking here?
I would say 60-40 practical CGI. It almost looks like a creature that's wearing almost like Santa Claus's skin.
How do you know it's Santa Claus is?
Well, just like he's wearing the classic red and white with like drooping skin that's almost like a mask placed over another head. The face is kept in shadows for the majority of the film, but you see that giant demonic form. Like it's very well designed. A really fun movie. Yeah, check it out, dude. I think you'd enjoy it for at least a single viewing.
You've piqued my curiosity mostly based on the villain. I think that's a unique... Like, there's a lot of cookie-cutter villains out in the horror world, but this one sounds a little bit more unique, and it sounds like it would be visually something to behold.
Well, it was so highly regarded that I think 3, maybe even 4 knockoffs came out shortly afterwards, just trying to capitalize on its popularity. So that should tell you something, too.
Yeah, I mean, imitation is the best form of flattery. If you got a bunch of movies coming out after, clearly you did something right.
Yeah.
Although, I'll be 100% honest with you, I don't know if I want to watch a horror movie during the Christmas season, even if it is a Christmas horror movie. I find that I still watch those other times of the year, and during Christmas I like the more with the feels type movies.
Why do you think that is? Do you think a horror element just kind of strips away the Christmas sentiment?
Perhaps. Maybe there's too much of a contradiction between like the intended feel of Christmas being about joy and coming together and stuff, and then murder and horror. And that's the thing. Like, I could probably watch Krampus any day of the year and not have a problem with it being Christmas based. But then at Christmas, I would probably want to watch something that just kind of makes me smile.
So do you think the horror element is stronger than a Christmas element? If you can take a Christmas horror film and watch it any day of the year, but a straight up Christmas movie you can only watch during the holidays?
I'm going on assumptions here because I'd have to watch it to be able to say.
Yeah, for sure. I find that very interesting. I agree with you. But I think that means to me that horror has more of a pull, more of an open appreciation than Christmas films do.
I mean...
Now, having said that, of course, that makes perfect sense. Because there's a lot of people who would argue Christmas films are not a genre, yet horror is. So.
Yeah, but again, I mean, maybe I watch it, and then I'm like, hey, yeah, like the Christmas elements are very strong, and I could watch this at Christmas time, but I'm just going on an assumption based on the description you've given. Okay,
fair enough. Well, let's get away from Christmas horror and go to number 9 on the list, which is a Christmas horror called Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale. Rare Exports from 2010 actually started off as a short film, which is available on YouTube. I highly recommend. I believe it's called Rare Exports Incorporated. It's a Finnish film directed by, okay, I'm sorry right now. My Finnish is a little rusty. My pronunciation is not the best, but Jalmari Helander. And IMDb's description of the film is, in the depths of the Korvatunturi Mountains, 486 meters deep, lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up, and this Christmas everyone will believe in Santa Claus.
Well, I will say that lucky for you, my knowledge of Finnish is quite poor, so I couldn't correct you if I wanted to.
Nor should you.
Secondly, this... didn't even sound like a Christmas movie very much when you gave me the description.
Yeah, it's this is definitely more of a horror film than a Christmas movie, but Christmas is the key to the actual story, and it just without giving too much away, it delivers what we know about Christmas in a 180-degree flip, and that everything we believed about Christmas is actually wrong, and it's almost the antithesis of what we believe. I really can't go too much further into it without spoiling the movie. And it's not really like, oh, what a twist or anything like that. It's just so fun to uncover as you're watching it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
I actually think that sounds kind of unique, because even with Christmas horrors, like, I don't know, we haven't mentioned any yet, but the previous movie we talked about still takes a lot of established Christmas lore and just builds a horror around that. But one to take Christmas and flip it entirely on its head and just kind of try and do something very different with it, that sounds pretty unique.
It is. It almost feels more like one of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales than a Christmas tale. And let me just say this. What we envision Santa Claus to be heavily plays into the story, but not in the way you would expect it to.
You're just trying to get us interested by intrigue, keep it as mysterious as possible. Now everybody's going to have to look it up just because you've given us literally nothing on it.
Well, you can watch the short film on YouTube, or anybody who has Shudder, which I highly recommend. It's available for streaming on there.
Why would I want to watch a short film when there's a full film there? Wouldn't that spoil it for me?
No, they're actually very different. They do kind of tie into each other a bit, but one was more of like an idea that they ran with as a short, and when it caught on, they just took that idea and blew it up and expanded on it in amazing proportions. I would say they're more companion pieces than a shorter version of a longer film.
Well, I'm glad you didn't save this one for last, because I wouldn't want to leave people on such a undefined, mysterious point.
Yes. I'm not going to say final film. It is number 10, but there is one honorable mention. Number
Don't
10.
Don't you traditionally do honorable mentions before you start the list?
No.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, it'll be the 11th film in retrospect. How about that?
Fine.
Jackass.
Oh, yeah. I'm the jackass.
Number 10. A gem from 1996. Jingle All the Way.
Oh, I can't believe that made your list.
You don't like that movie?
I do, but I'm not normal people. That is a bad movie.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great film.
No, it's a bad movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
See, here's the thing. Obviously, I like it. We're talking about a guy who, before he stopped collecting, physical media, had, 24 Arnold DVDs.
Yeah.
Somehow. I love the movie. I can acknowledge that it is not a good movie.
It's pretty campy and over the top. It is incredibly enjoyable. You say it's a bad movie, and I will agree with you, based off of the director's other films. So the director is Brian Levin. Do you recognize the name at all? Mm-mm. Probably not.
When do I ever? Are you waiting for the time that I say, oh, yeah?
Yeah, that would be the final episode of this podcast.
Well, then I better never say it, or else this is going to be over.
He directed the live-action Flintstones movies.
Okay.
Are We There Yet? The made-for-TV live-action Scooby-Doo movies, and is apparently directing a reboot of Police Academy.
I don't know how I feel about that list that you just gave me.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, not great. Although I am curious. About a Police Academy remake. I'm not gonna lie about that, but
oh yeah, because the previous 7 were so good.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna acknowledge all 7, but I did enjoy the first few. I mean,
yeah.
For what they were. I'm not gonna say
first 3.
yeah, like they were good movies for what they were. You're not going to try and find some award-winning thing there, but for some stupid comedies, some hijinks, yeah, they were decent movies. But beyond the remake of Police Academy, which is more curiosity than anything, I'm not too fond of that list.
I am reading the IMDb description of this movie right now, and immediately, if you change 3 bits of this description, it is another movie, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. So let me see. Let me read this and see if you can figure out what this almost mirrors, okay?
Oh yeah, this sounds like a good plan. Go ahead.
All right. A father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out of them, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. Now, if you change father to mother, change Turbo Man to good guy, and Christmas to birthday, and you have the plot to Child's Play.
I would say that the plot of Child's Play takes a very drastic turn after that.
Oh yeah, no, from this description though.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have gotten that. I can see where you got it, but I wouldn't have gotten that. I would have needed to see the two sides to be able to connect those dots.
Mm-hmm. You want to cover the cast of this movie? Because I think the story's terrible, but I think the cast is what makes it fun.
Sure. I mean, yeah, why not?
So we got Arnold Schwarzenegger as Howard Langston, Sinbad as Myron Larrabee, the late great Phil Hartman as Ted Malton, Rita Wilson as Liz Langston, Jake Lloyd as Jamie Langston, and I added this in here even though it doesn't really matter, but Jim Belushi as the Mall Santa.
Oh, no Big Show as the big Santa that he fights?
Oh, I forgot about Big Show.
Paul White. I would have to say that it was definitely... He didn't carry the movie, but I think the best parts were Phil Hartman's.
Yeah, he's great. He was great in everything he's ever done.
He does such a good job as being like the smarmy neighbor trying to hook up with Arnold's wife, who...
Jackass.
It really doesn't sound very Christmassy, but, I mean, hey...
I really don't know how much you want to talk about this movie. I don't have a whole lot to say other than it's really fun to just throw on. You can pay attention to it. You can just turn and look at it randomly, and you'll probably end up laughing at some scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's an enjoyable movie. It's not a good one, but
no.
if it's on, you don't need to change the channel. Watch it. You'll have a couple laughs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I guess maybe now is the time to go on to number 11.
The honorable mention?
Yes.
All right.
It's from 2005. It is director David Steinman's only directorial effort. And it is Santa's Sleigh.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that one.
I knew you would be.
Oh, if you were going to ask me at the end, which I believe you wanted me to, if there was any movies that were left out of the list that should have been there, that would have been one if you hadn't brought it up.
I actually had that question written down after this list.
Oh, well, I mean, that would have been it. When we got to number 10, I was like, I'm starting to feel a little doubtful. And I even wanted to reference it a couple of times. But I'm like, no, I don't want to reference it if he's going to bring it up later.
Yeah, you knew I would. There's no way I wouldn't be able to not talk about this movie.
No, it should be on the list.
I couldn't find a proper synopsis for this on IMDb, so I'm going to read the best one I could find, and then you fill in the holes, because we've both seen this movie. We both enjoy this movie.
I've actually seen this movie 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Luketic milestone.
No. There's movies I've seen like 17, 18 times.
Like what?
Undercover Blues?
I don't even know what that is.
My dad really liked it. I watched it a lot with him when I was a kid. It's comedy. Look it up.
Undercover. Yeah, I will. Okay. Anyway, back to Santa's Sleigh. Santa Claus is actually a demon who lost a bet with an angel, so he becomes the giver of toys and happiness. but when the bet is off, he returns to his evil ways. That was the original IMDb one. The next best one I could find is written by Austin4577. Bill Goldberg plays the devil's son who lost a wager with an angel and was forced to spend 1,000 years playing Santa. But now the wager of that time has run out, and good old Santa isn't so joyful anymore. He makes up for lost time and starts to kill. Terrible.
Yeah, but I mean,
It catches the gist, I guess.
it does catch the gist of it, and I would not want to put too much more in there because it would take away from so much of the fun of it. Like, I don't even want to reference parts of the movie at this point. Like, I don't want to name anything that happens in it, but even like the intro scene with all the cameos, like, I don't want to say any more than that because watching that is so much fun for somebody who doesn't know what they're about to see.
Yeah, I have a listing of all the cast on here, including the cameos at the beginning.
Oh,
and
don't include those. Make people.
I'm
watch
not
it.
going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. It's just too much fun. But who knew Bill Goldberg as Santa would be so funny?
I gotta say, I was surprised by his comedic timing in the movie. Like, if somebody told me, okay, he's going to be in an action movie, right? Okay, it's going to be terrible Universal Soldier, whatever, fine. He'll do his role as it should be, right? But to think that he would have such a good, like, presence in a more comedy type fashion, I was blown away.
Yeah, and how it was full on R-rated. There's no holding back from anything. They just let the actors run wild with the roles. You could tell there was a fair amount of improv, and the timing worked perfectly. I was super happy with this movie. I could easily see this being like a double feature with Jack Frost.
Yeah, maybe. No, Jack Frost.
Yeah, no, I'm right.
No, it's so bad, and Santa. Where's the S? Is it Santa Slays or Santa's Sleigh?
I think it's Santa's Sleigh.
I think that's what it is too, because I think it's the one that I don't normally expect it to be. Is a bad movie that's done really well, is self-aware, and is a lot of fun. Jack Frost is just bad. Period.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
You're not agreeing with anything I'm saying at all.
You don't watch movies.
True, but I've watched this movie, and I've watched the other one we're comparing it to. Isn't that all I need for the two comparisons?
No.
Anyway, I will say the one thing that is a little disappointing to me is that the ultimate outcome, the solving of the problem in this movie, the ending, I guess you would call it, but it's kind of not. The avenue for the ending, I guess you could say, is a little bit anticlimactic, but it doesn't take away from the movie experience at all, because you're not watching it to find out how they wrap it up.
Yeah, the resolution is kind of weak, but the ride to get there is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's what you're watching it for. Like, you know the ending when you watch it on a second and third viewing. It doesn't diminish it at all because it is about the fun you're going to have on the way there.
All right, man. So,
I will be honest, that is a movie that I've never watched at Christmas time, even of my multiple viewings, because it can be watched at any time.
do one quick rehash here, man, and then I got a question for you.
Sure.
So we've covered Scrooged, The Nightmare Before Christmas, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Jack Frost, Home Alone, Gremlins, Ernest Saves Christmas, Krampus, Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale, Jingle All the Way, and Santa's Sleigh. Is there anything else you think we should add to that list? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
I'm tempted to say Die Hard. Just to please all of the very rabid fans of it. Because while you and I wouldn't include it on the list, it's not us to tell them that they shouldn't think of it as a Christmas movie. And it comes up so much during the year even.
This is our soapbox. We can say whatever we want to.
I mean, I think it would have fit in a bit of an honorable mention spot just for that. And
No, it would fit on a list of movies that took place when snow was on the ground.
and of course, we're missing the ultimate Christmas movie, Rocky IV.
Yes, that did take place during Christmas.
Honestly, nothing's coming to mind for Christmas movies other than that. I really do think that we hit the majority of the really big ones without getting into the classics, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak for you, but for me, I'm not overly fond of It's a Wonderful Life and all that stuff.
I love me some Jimmy Stewart, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about the quality. It's not something that I really gravitate to this time of the year, especially. But what I'm saying is, I think if we were to, not include going back in the really classics, like the Christmas Story and stuff like that.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, but it is it's a well-renowned Christmas movie. I don't like it either. But without going into those types of movies, I think this list is quite well encompassing of the different varieties and different feelings of holiday movies.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it's a compliment. I don't know if you've ever really been exposed to giving them, but it's how it's done, man.
Well, I've never gotten one from you